What is up, y'all? This is episode 25 and a half. This is Two Jersey Kids. I am the best host in the business, Adam Buckingham, alongside the best stick handler in the video game business, my best friend, Gary Seisel. How you doing today, Gary?
We got the best in the business on one podcast. That's impressive. But yeah, I'm doing very well. Doing awesome.
Well, if you guys didn't know, this is Two Jersey Kids. We are a video game podcast. We release 2 episodes each week. A Tuesday episode where we tell you the games breaking down that coming out that week, and then we go through a topic that we decide, or you submit through Twitter at Two Jersey Kids. You can tweet us, or you can email us twojerseykids@gmail.com. And then our Friday episode is where we break down the news that's been going on throughout the week, and talk about it. Give our expert opinions because we're geniuses. That's basically it. Gary, what have you been up to before we get into things?
Well, I've actually been exploring a little bit of the new Destiny patch that came out. Believe it or not, I have been looking at it. I've said this before. I think I said this last episode. It's kind of like so. They kind of like mess with special ammo too much to the point where you don't really have a secondary weapon anymore. Like, so for people that don't know about Destiny, your special weapon is your secondary weapon. So you can have a assault rifle or auto rifle, and then have a sniper as well. So they mess with the sniper. Sorry, you were going to ask something?
No, I was going to ask it. I thought that's a good thing because you don't want people to have shotgun ammo constantly.
It was a good thing in like 6v6 game types. So like anything normal Crucible. But once you get into Trials of Osiris, which is 3v3, I just feel like it really messes up the flow of the game type. So like, you don't have anybody using sniper rifles or shotguns anymore. It's all people running around with like sidearms, or they use the exotic sniper rifle, which is Icebreaker, which like it has it generates its own ammunition basically, so you don't have to pick up like special ammo. So that sort of thing. Yeah, I see you shaking your head over there.
I'm not shaking my head. I'm just doing the motion where it's all going over top of my head because I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. I'm just nodding along like, yeah, that seems like solid point. That seems right. Yeah, sure. Is that all you've been playing this weekend? You've been doing anything else?
Well, I've been jumping on a little bit of the Battlefield
classic
occasionally, but I'm just kind of, believe it or not, I've been waiting for Horizon.
Oh yeah, is that going to be the game where we both finally get it, so we can have another review discussion like NHL 17, which I loved.
I would very much like to do that because
I've been hearing real good things about it.
I've been seeing good reviews. Yeah, great reviews actually.
Yeah, I've been hearing real good things about it. It's like a solid-sized open world, not that massive thing that is The Witcher, which is great. I like the condensed open world where it's still large, but yet not obtusely large where you have to do everything or feel like there's so many things to do.
And you feel lost. Yeah. But anyway, it really hasn't been too exciting for me game-wise, unfortunately. But what have you been doing, sir?
Well, this weekend, on Friday, I went up to see my cousin in Jersey. Because they flew in to Florida, so I hung out at my cousin's, and I drank a little bit too much, to say the least, on Friday, but I played some poker. I got my money back, and I won, I think, $4 based on everything, so that was fun. And then the next day, I was hurting real bad. It took me a full day to recover.
I've been there many times.
Full day. It was a mix. It wasn't really a headache. For some reason, when I get like hangovers, it's not my head that hurts. It's normally my stomach is what kills me. Like I feel nauseous or like hungry or a combination of the two. It's strange.
Well, if you remember the was it the episode we did on Thanksgiving Day? I think it was. Yeah. Because the night before Thanksgiving, I got so obliterated, and then. Of course, Thanksgiving Day, I was just like, oh my God, I'm going to die. And like, I remember you wanted to do the recording of the episode in the morning. And I was just like, this can't be happening. I got up and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this episode without throwing up. But luckily, see, for me, it's like, I don't know if it's headaches really, but I just get really like, it's usually my stomach that kills me. I feel like I'm going to just vomit if I drink, like if I mix.
That was a strange thing. I just had like red wine the whole night.
That'll do it.
That sort of crushed me. I normally mix it up, but lately I've been doing wine, and I feel like it's better for you than beer. But when you drink that absurd amount, then it doesn't really matter in the end. Let's be real.
Exactly.
But I was feeling it affected me the whole next day because I was still iffy during dinner, but I like toughed it out because we went to dinner. And then me and my girlfriend went to see Lego Batman movie, which I liked a lot. And then when we like fell asleep, we got back to my cousin's place and we fell asleep at like 11:30, 12. I like woke up in the middle of the night. It was like 2:30 in the morning, and my stomach, I felt like I was gonna vomit or something. I felt like it was coming back up for some reason. It was still hitting me, and for some reason, I just went over to the bathroom. Their bathroom, they had like cold tile, and for some reason, it felt heavenly. So I just laid down on the tile, rest my head on like a towel. I got sleepy within like 15 minutes. Went back to bed and was just out, and I was fine the next morning. I don't know what that was or why that helped, but it did.
I know what you mean. It's just like the craziest like little things that can like just kind of change everything to make you feel better.
You just have to get into that comfort position that your body needs. Sometimes it's a fetal position. Sometimes it's some random, I don't know why position, but it just works. So, but that's what happened to me. And then Sunday, cousin's birthday party. Then drove back and just been, hanging out with the girlfriend on President's Day and fun stuff. Got back a little late. Played some Neo, which I've been enjoying, which is like the Dark Souls Samurai thing, which I've been enjoying a lot. Finally beat the third boss in the stage, which she was a freaking the bat flying lady vampire person. Finally beat her. I figured out how to beat her, which is the fantastic thing, because I started getting frustrating, and I started looking up how you do this, like how do you beat the boss, and then I saw like one comment is like, if you're into this to figure out the easy way to beat a boss, this is not the game you should be playing. I was like, you're kind of right, because that's the excitement is to figure out how to beat the boss. So I was like, all right, I get frustrated, I'll go back in, and I ended up it took me a few more tries. I figured out the key thing that I needed to beat her with. I just needed to time it properly, which I wasn't doing at all. And I got to the point of the end of the boss, because these boss battles are like take a while because they have so much health, and they knock you down rather quickly. So you get farther and farther down, and you try to get a little more because you're so close. You ever have those moments where you're like, "Oh, I can do it," and you try to go too quickly and you screw up? And I was getting to that point where I felt like I was this close. I'm holding my fingers real close. This close to like losing the fight because I was getting too anxious and too like too adventurous with fighting, because that's when you could screw yourself. And if I lost where I was, because that's the farthest I ever got, and if I lost, I would have been furious. I'm sure my controller would have went through the wall, and I would have had to been paying for it. I was so close, but I ended up getting out of it, getting a downing an elixir before I got hit again, and then hit one shot left, and I got her, and she she dropped down. I was like, oh, thank you. Oh, God. But that has been our weekend.
Actually, I actually had to say one thing about that game. That guy, the main character, I'm not sure what his name is, but he looks just like Geralt from The Witcher. It's like, dude, how did they not get nailed for some sort of copyright infringement or some sort of, I'm not sure if it's copyright, but almost just like.
He's badass.
It's the same guy. It's like the same dude.
He's like badass in all the armor that he wears, no matter what it is. Because sometimes you have like goofy looking armor, but they do it like a cool way. So he has like sometimes a black mask on or some crazy mask. I don't know. It's cool. But I mean, we are now almost 9 minutes in, and we haven't talked about any games. But sometimes we go on tangents. Deal with it. If you're fans, you'll understand. If you're not and you're furious, well, you know what?
See you later.
Bye. I don't care. Just kidding. Maybe not just kidding, but if you're a new listener and you like what you're hearing, please hit the subscribe button. And if you're a continued listener, this is what you get from Two Jersey Kids. We're crazy. We sometimes ramble about topics because we're best friends, so we're just talking. We're shooting the shit. So, you know what? If you don't like it, like we said before, deal with it. Or fucking go. Fucking go. We don't care. We don't care. We're a small podcast anyway. What's 1 or 2 listens, really, honestly?
Well, now. We need every listener. Now, when we get big, that's when we say that.
Yeah. But if you can, please give us a rating on whatever podcast service app you use, whether Stitcher, iTunes. I don't think you can do it on Google Play or Podcast Addict. I don't know if you can do it there either. I'm just throwing out services. Tune in. I don't know if you can do it there too. I'm just throwing out random podcasts that I know, podcast services that I know we're on. But we shall now get into the games releasing this week. What's the actual date? Was it February 21st all the way to February 25th, 26th. Sure.
I think you're...
Yeah, let's go. I got it. Tuesday, February 21st, Halo Wars 2 Standard Edition is coming to Xbox One. Berserk and the Band of the Hawk are coming to PS4, PC, and Vita. Then we have Ys Origin coming to PS4 and Vita. Oh, Vita's getting some love today. Moving on to Psychonauts in the Rhombus and Ruin coming to PS4 and PSVR. I did not know they were making a Psychonauts games now for PS4 and PSVR. I remember people loving that game back in the PS2 era. So I actually haven't checked it out. Maybe I should. Vaccine coming to Xbox One and PS4. Chime Sharp coming to PS4. Clouds and Sheep 2 coming to PS4. Malicious Fallen coming to PS4. Mervillous, a VR adventure coming to PS4. Night in the Woods coming to PS4. Psychonauts, well, that's already missed typo on that website's fault because unfortunately we didn't culminate together. Typo Man coming to PS4. Moving on to Wednesday, February 22nd. We have Zombie Vikings coming to Xbox One and Shift Happens also coming to Xbox One. And Thursday, February 23rd, we have Riptide GP Renegade coming to Xbox One and ACA Neo Geo Neo Turf Masters coming to PS4. I feel like we read that last week.
Dude, I feel like we've read that one. I feel like we've read like one of those like arcade games every week. We've done this. And
I know, right?
It always pisses me off reading it. It's like, oh my god.
Friday, February 24th, you have LEGO Worlds coming to Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Then you have We Are the Dwarves coming to Xbox One. You also have Boko Suko Wars 2 coming to Xbox One. That's a name, all right. Then you have Chime Sharp coming to Xbox One. You have Forma 8 coming to Xbox One. A Pixel Story coming to Xbox One and PS4. Warhammer Quest coming to Xbox One and PS4. Turlin the Shadow Engine coming to Xbox One. And Warhammer 40K Deathmatch coming to PS4. And unfortunately, we were busy this weekend, so we never got a chance to look at all of them. So my pick of the week is obviously going to be Halo Wars, because that's all I really know on this. But what do you have to say, Gary?
Oh, no, I was waving my hand saying, no, don't say anything to me. I don't know anything.
Well,
no, because
classic.
I should have got that list together. It's my bad. My bad, everybody.
Gary shot the bed. It's all right. It happens. Gary, what is the topic that we're discussing this week, which is what we do on the Tuesday episode? We bring a topic to the discussion. And, you can submit topics at twojerseykids@gmail.com or at twojerseykids on Twitter. There you go.
Yep. Actually, please submit more topics because I am having a really hard time now thinking of them.
Gary's struggling, and it's only been like a few episodes.
Well, dude, I have a lot of them written down. I have about like 10 ideas written down, but some of them we combined into one episode. Like the most hated villain, or I guess favorite villain, favorite hero. We combined that. So I was just like, Jesus Christ, I had to figure something out. So today, our topic is going to be your first ever online gaming experience.
Is this best online gaming experience, or is this just our first? Or what do we do?
Our first, like our introduction into the online gaming world. Correct,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So I'm not sure if you wanted to. Yeah, you want to lead it off? We can switch game to game. Yeah.
All right, so I have two right off the bat. I didn't write any of them down because busy all day today. So when you shot me the topic, I was like, all right, I'll just wing it on the air because that's what I do off the cuff, as you can check from my review of Earthlock Festival of Magic on twojerseykids.com. Plug.
Shameless plug.
There you
Shameless.
go. My first experience that actually came to mind, you would probably think it would be Halo, but no. The first experience I remember of playing online, it actually relates to the Battlefield franchise. I remember I used to play Battlefield, Vietnam on the PC, and I had honestly, I had no idea if I was playing with bots or real people online, because me being at that age, I was like, I don't care, this is awesome, but I think I was playing with other people. That's all I really remember. That was the only PC game that I ever played, and then going along with the Battlefield franchise, one of the main things I remember is on Xbox. I remember playing Battlefield 2 Modern Combat, I believe that's what it's called. And I remember specifically playing the demo of that game because it allowed online play, and it was only this one specific map. And I remember it specifically because you would hop in helicopters, and I thought that was awesome. You could parachute on top of one of the control points, and fight for it, essentially, from the helicopters, which I thought was sick at the time. And another specific memory I have of that game, which I loved doing for some stupid reason because I was a kid, I loved being the special ops class or whatever, and the one that had C4. I would go into a car, make sure that no one was in it, I would chuck C4 on it. I would drive around, see if I could find like one of the big tanks or something, and drive up, jump out, and as I jumped out and saw it hit the tank, I'll just blow up the C4 and try to blow up the tank or the people around. It was, I remember that game. I just loved playing that game. Even the demo, I remember thinking like how awesome it was being online and playing with all these random people, and having these awesome moments, which I guess you still do in some Battlefield games going forward. But this was like my first introduction to the craziness that was Battlefield Online mode. There wasn't as much destructible combat as in today's Battlefield games. However, there was some like you could blow up the walls, but you couldn't like blow up buildings or anything. But it was still a lot of fun. I can picture it right now. The one capture point was like a dome top building with like columns on the bottom. Another one was by a market with a tall building structure. That sears into my mind to remember playing that game. I played the demo of it for hours and hours just to play online.
Yeah, it's funny. With Battlefield, like I remember I never really played it that much until I guess like a few years back, where my brother-in-law was always really into Battlefield, the original Battlefield games, and I think what game did he play? He played some game professionally. I think it might have been original Call. He played the original Call of Duty, the very original Call of Duty.
Original on PC.
Yeah, he played that competitively, like professionally. But yeah, I never got too much into the Battlefield games until recently. I guess I didn't have like the patience for them, because like when you play Call of Duty, it's just constant action, but Battlefield's like a little more plotting. I feel like you're not always, but like I feel like sometimes you kind of have to go seek out the action and kind of create like certain situations, and
that's the thing.
It's more strategic.
That's the thing about the modern combat games. The map being for what console it was at the time, like Xbox, the maps weren't like too crazy large. It wasn't like control points were rather quick. Like I remember the market control point was maybe like 100 or 200 feet in video game from the other control point, which is like the dome building. It wasn't that far away, so it was like sort of more condensed, being harnessing whatever the Xbox power was at the time, so it wasn't too vast of a map, which I really did like. Which was like a firefight in this like one little tiny town, which was awesome. Trying to fight control, pushing forward and back.
There's some maps in Battlefield 1, like Sinai Desert, for example. It's just a big desert map, and basically, if you don't like spawn with a vehicle, you're going to be running for a long, long time. And I've had it happen a few times where I'm just like running a marathon to just get into the action. And I'm just like, come on, man. It's rough. But dare I state my first experience?
Yeah, you can state your first experience or your most memorable experience. I'm trying to look up the maps
should I list both
now.
Should I list both games here? Just go right into it, both games, because they kind of lump in together.
If you want to.
All right, I'm gonna do it. What the hell? All right, so for me, my first real introduction into the online gaming universe was Resistance 2 for PS3. So
classic. I remember playing that. Backstab. I think that was the map. Sorry, that just popped in my head.
You're good. No, but Resistance 2 was my first ever real experience into any online multiplayer whatsoever. It was obviously competitive and cooperative, and both the game modes were pretty awesome. Actually, the cooperative missions were fun, and competitive is obviously a fun time. But it's kind of interesting because I never, up until I got my PS3, like I had my Xbox 360, but the paid subscription always kind of held me back because obviously at the time I didn't really have a job or a means of paying for it, and I don't really think my parents wanted to. But fun fact, Adam.
Fun facts.
The funny thing is that I bought my PlayStation 3, and this was one of those games I bought with it. Like I got Uncharted with my PlayStation 3, and then also I just bought a couple games. I bought this console from Game Crazy, which was in Hollywood Video. If anyone remembers, I guess from this area, I bought this gaming console from a movie rental store, which doesn't exist anymore. But it was such a great game though, because the The battles were always huge. I think it was kind of ahead of its time. I think it had like 60-man battles, like 30 v.
Resistance 2 or Resistance?
Yeah, it was like Resistance 2.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
I think it was like 60-player battles, but like 30 versus 30. But I just remember like distinctly playing this game for the first time and just being like, oh my God, like I'm finally getting the chance to play online, because obviously PS3 was free.
Yeah, it was 60 players during skirmish mode.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I remember just like, in that game, I don't know, I just kind of like really took to sniping. And I'm not sure if you remember the map called Auric. I had to look it up myself, but it was like that big map with the lumberyard that everybody would rush and defend.
Yeah,
I remember that map. And just like, I would be like a sniper, of course, and I'd be like sniping people that are like running in.
People,
and
you would piss people off, is what you do.
Probably.
Oh, I do remember.
These are the people
Resistance.
I scream at now playing Battlefield.
I remember playing Resistance 2, I think, with you before.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I remember playing.
We played cooperative too. Well, what's funny is that this game, I used to like just jump into cooperative games and like just talk to random people with ease. I can't talk to people like that anymore. Like I just don't. It's weird to me now.
I feel like I had a theory with that for PS3. It seemed like it was easier to talk with people because not a lot of people had mics. And then the people that got mics ended up not being total douchebags or little kids running around.
They were social usually. Yeah.
They respected the mic. They didn't want to scream in it and blow out people's eardrums.
Although I will say, which is kind of leading me into my next game. So I had Resistance 2, obviously, but that was my first introduction into the online competitive gaming and everything. But Modern Warfare 2.
You had the itch. You had the itch. I'm
exactly.
hitting my arm as like indicate. Yeah.
But Modern Warfare 2 was my first introduction to gaming online with friends. With friends. Go to hell. You play that game too.
I know I did.
But this game,
I specifically bought it on. I had it on 2 consoles because 2 sets of friend groups played. One played it on 360 and one played it on PS3. So I had to flip back and forth depending on who was playing at the time.
What a tough life we had, right?
I know, so difficult. I was able to get 2 copies. I was lucky, little bastard I was. But most of the time on 360, though, it was Halo 3 that I played a lot. That was a classic multiplayer experience, which I'll talk about probably maybe in this one. Who knows? But yeah, I remember playing Modern Warfare 2 with you, and you fucking slow, methodical walking around the map. That's what you always did. You were on the outskirts picking people off.
I don't know how I did it.
You would end up with like 10 kills and only 2 deaths like every round. You wouldn't do a lot, but you wouldn't die.
I got better and better, I feel like, as time went on, like kill wise. Because I remember I would rattle. No, well, I'm just being honest, but I would rattle off because the way the kill streaks were in that game, you could get like 5 kills, which wasn't hard, obviously. And if you had Hardline on, you can get 4 and you get Predator Missile. Then you have your Harrier, which comes like 2 kills later, which is easy as hell. You can take out 2 people with a Predator Missile, get 7. Then you just go somewhere, hide, camp. That thing rattles off like 4 or 5 kills. You get your chopper gunner, and then you can just mow people down. Especially if it's a small map, you can just spawn kill everybody.
Gunner, that's why I always in those games. I remember I always specifically picked whatever it was because it always shifts from Call of Duty. No, whatever it's called, I always pick the one where you can't be seen on any UAV or any
Cold-blooded.
Cold-blooded. I guess that was Modern Warfare 2 at the time. I always picked that because I did not want to get killed by a stupid chopper gunner or any UAV indicating where I was. I like to be in the slick, sly guy that would run around the map. I didn't want to be spotted.
Smart.
I would always have a silencer, no matter if I was playing team deathmatch or like a hardcore match. I would always have a silencer on, no matter what. I don't know why.
Same.
Especially in team death, because it would give you away when you would fire if you didn't have a silencer on or suppressor. So I always had that. Classic times. Right. And I remember I got the nuke, the tactical nuke, I think, because that was the first game you could actually get it, right?
Oh, yeah. I got that
kills.
Multiple times. That was great. That was so satisfying.
Yeah, because you were more patient than me. I only got it once in that freaking game, and I was so happy to press that damn button.
It's great, dude. It was kind of like bullshit in some ways, but at the same time, you get someone on their team that rattles off 25 straight kills. They deserve to nuke your team.
Yeah.
But this game, though, seriously, tons of memories from this game. I just remember, for me, I was in high school at the time. So, I would get home from high school and like all my friends would be online. Like that never happens anymore because now we're all adults now and we have jobs and it's always so lame. Like back then you could come home, just turn on your PlayStation. Oh, all my friends are online. Yeah, it's like classic what the hell happened, man? Yep. Why did the time have to move so fast?
Yeah,
I hate it.
Why do we have to be adults? You know.
Yeah, it sucks.
But maybe we'll grow super large, then we'll have friends that just do this all constantly all day.
Yeah, there we go. Part of the business.
Yeah, that'll happen. But I can't remember. I was just thinking, did we do? I know I did. Like those MLG leagues for Call of Duty with other people like on 360. I don't remember. Did I do one with you?
Yeah, we did. It was kind of a disaster. I remember that actually specifically because we played 2v2, and it was just like you get hit, you get killed, and you're down. Yeah, exactly. And I remember there was one game it's tattooed in my head because I got so pissed off about it.
Classic.
It was we took out one guy, he took out you, and then it was me versus the other dude. I just remember my screen. I remember this whole thing. I go up into like this building, right? I look out the window, and right across from me is this guy looking another direction, right? I go to shoot him, and I guess I pressed in too hard with my thumb on my joystick or my thumbstick, and it meleeed. And in that melee motion, I got shot and killed. I was I was so unbelievably pissed off. And it's like, oh my god!
I remember we would play those games, and we both get pissed off.
I still get pissed.
It's so different going from doing whatever search and destroy normal mode is like 6-on-6 or whatever it was 4-on-4 to then 2-on-2. Especially not used to. You have to be cautious with your movements. It's like really intense. I remember it'd be nerve wracking. Moving through those maps.
I love. That's why Destiny to me always has such an appeal because once Trials of Osiris came out, which is like that 3v3 kind of like search and destroy.
To Destiny.
Well, no, seriously, I'm saying like once that 3v3 game mode came out where it's kind of like search and destroy. You know, you get hit once, you're down. You can be revived, but it's not always a guarantee. Like that intensity, it just isn't there in other games. So like it was a 3v3, and like there was a couple times I went 1v3 and took out the entire like team, and it's so intense. You just don't get that.
I remember the intensity of playing Gears. I don't remember if I did a MLG clan for Gears. I probably did once or twice. I don't remember. But I remember just playing normal games, playing with like some random... That's the thing with games nowadays. You don't meet random friends online. I remember I used to friend people on 360 or PS3 when I found like cool people online. Like, hey, you want to play some Gears later? Because they would be down for it because they were chill dudes. And I remember playing with, I can't remember his name. I hate my memory because sometimes I can't remember. But there's one dude that I always played with on Gears of War when no one else was playing at the time. And I just can't remember right now. And it would all be me and him. And he was nasty with the shotgun. Because I remember he would tell me like the trick that he did is that he would zoom in on the sniper rifle all the way through, like on just a random map, and he would put like a piece of black tape on his screen.
That's awesome.
And so when he would shoot a shotgun, he knew that's exactly where he's aiming. For some
reason, that's insane.
That was how intense he was. And I remember it was me and him that would always play, and most of the time, if it was me or him, like left, like it was like 1-on-3 or 1-on-4, either one of us still had to believe we had a chance because there were times where I remember specifically playing on, I forget what it's called. It was like the ones with the railroad tracks, and it had a machine gun on the top. I'm sure if people know Gears of War, they're probably screaming the name too, like through their headphones right now. Not that I can hear you, motherfuckers, but I remember playing. I think I've said this story before, but it was like 3-on-1, and I remember just like they're all coming at me, and I'm rolling back and forth. And at the time, you still had a chance if you had rounds in your shotgun in Gears of War 1. There was no chance in hell that you could. You had a chance. There was no chance in hell that you could possibly, not have a chance. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. This is why I'm off the cuff.
I understand what I'm saying? It was a little shuffled, but I got you.
Yeah. I remember Gears 1, you never used the Lancer or anything. What were you gonna say?
Yeah. There was a guy I'll let you get to another. I know you had other games you wanted to talk about.
Like
You're
one more,
rambling.
which I'm sure
but
everyone knows.
There's one guy I wanted to give a shout out to, I guess. But in Destiny, we would raid, and so basically, whenever a new raid would come out, we always wanted to do like a blind raid. So you would go in without knowing anything about it, because it's just a different experience when you get to go in there and kind of just like see things like, new things for the first time, and not have anyone like, no, man, you got to do this. This is how you do it. No. So anyway, one night we got together. It was me, Ben, and Gavin, and we were like, let's just find 3 real chill people to play with. We did. We actually managed to find 3 people, and one of them was like this real Southern dude from Texas. The man. Dude, we were all like drinking a lot that night and raiding. It was just such a great time. We ended up actually beating the raid later on with this one guy, in our fire team again.
Nice.
And he's just one of the coolest dudes. But yeah, it's amazing what happens with random people sometimes. And who would have
thought? Let me write down, because I want to get to it when I say my next game, and I know you'll know who it is. We'll have a story, but I don't want to forget it, so I'm writing it down now. And then I'm going to do the shout-out, because somebody actually responded to when we tweeted out about what was your first online gaming experience, and Ivan Kaltman at WiseDad_games responded, HL2 Deathmatch, which I'm guessing is Half-Life 2 Deathmatch. And I actually saw on Steam that people are still reviewing and rating it, saying it's pretty good. It was released back in 2004. I unfortunately never had the experience of playing that game, but it seems like a lot of people loved that game back when it was out. It was basically Half-Life, but I guess using all the physics of the world, and like gravity gun and all the weapons and deathmatch, kind of cool. People enjoy it. But what I was going to say, another first online gaming experience, I remember playing Halo 2. That's a classic. I remember playing when I was younger, one of the first online game that I ever really played, which I remember how intense, I know I've probably said it on the podcast before, but how intense it was when you got to the higher and higher levels, and how much you wanted to keep going, and how satisfying it was when you finally moved up a level, when you finally got the next level. What were you going to say, Gary?
I just had a funny story. Whenever I think of Halo 2, I always remember how much I sucked at that game. It was before I really got better at playing first-person shooters online. But I just remember coming over your house. We were like 12, obviously, at the time. And I just remember it was like Halo 2 I would usually watch. It was like Halo 2 and then just Capri Sun. that was the deal. You had a fridge at the time. Now it'd be beer.
And we did. Like, oh my God, then, I forgot about that. Holy shit.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, fridge stocked with Capri Sun. I remember that specifically every time coming over.
And then my grandma would come out with apples and peanut butter.
Yeah,
solid stuff. Underrated snack food. Everybody out there, apples and peanut butter is the shit.
It's delicious.
I remember playing like custom matches that they would develop before Halo 3 came out, where you had the Forge mode where you could make a lot of things. This was like all of creativity. I remember playing Tower of Power, which was awesome. Do you remember that game where you had shotguns on Ascension?
I never played like the intricate like custom matches like that.
I remember playing that constantly with just random people because it was a lot of fun. Because I think you used to be able to search or join random matches. Because the friend list, I remember to this day, like the crazy friends list that would pop up. That was like the only solid friends list application that's ever been. Because I hate pulling up the friends list on other random games now because it doesn't tell you jack squat. But I remember, but maybe it's just because back then Halo 2 was the online game. That's what everybody played. And I remember pulling up the friends list and just everybody either custom games or playing Team Deathmatch or what was it called then? Team Slayer or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Slayer.
Yeah. But I wanted to just say this one name to see if I can get your reaction to it. Do you know who I'm about to say?
I'm not sure, dude. I don't know.
I remember I was playing with this one kid, and I thought he was pretty chill at the time or cool, and he was like seemed like a little kid compared to me from what he sounded like, but he could have been my age, and I don't know. But SMG Beatdown. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I remember
that guy. What the hell is he? Why do I remember him? I don't know why.
Randomly, we started playing a custom game, and I remember you were over, and I didn't have a mic on, and he was just randomly started talking shit to me for some reason. We were just playing a custom game with other people, and I just he started trying to beat me up in the game, and I was like, all right, and then I just started taking him out. He started getting whiny towards me.
I remember. Now. Yeah, that's a long time. That's like 10 years ago, but yeah.
God, I can't remember you remember the Capri Sun because I forgot all about that. That's insane, dude, man.
Distinct things, like the craziest things, yeah.
Oh man, do you have any more gaming memories you can remember, or first online gaming experiences you remember? When the first time you played it and you're like, holy shit, what was I missing out on?
Oh, I mean, that was basically it. I just remember how addicted I was to Resistance 2 for the longest time. Like, that was just amazing. I'd always wanted online. That's one thing I had always wanted. And I finally got that with PlayStation 3 and Resistance. But, with Modern Warfare 2, it was a joke. I mean, I'd be up to, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning playing this game. I remember drinking Mountain Dew like a true, derelict gamer, living in the basement.
See, I was about to say, do you think there are going to be games that are going to bring us back to playing like we used to? And then I'm trying to think, there are probably games are for kids out there that are in high school and they have the time to play that, and their friends are into that. And I don't know if we will be in that place anymore to, being a quote unquote adults, because I don't know if we're actually adults right now. But
I still play Destiny. Oh, not so much anymore, but I have 40 days worth of Destiny probably on one of my characters alone, plus probably 10 or 15 more days than the two other characters combined. So I played a lot of that, and even Battlefield I still play a lot on the weekends. But in terms of playing throughout the week maybe and all the time throughout the week, I just don't see it happening because no one's home.
I remember just recently booting up when I was playing Gears, booting up the Xbox One and seeing all the past friends that I friended when I was younger, and it all just says offline, 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 and it just makes me sad.
It's depressing.
And I haven't found a game on PS4 or anything really that people have been playing, or maybe I'm not popular on PS4 yet because I don't have that many friends. So you can friend me if you want to friend me on PS4. DM me, because I'm not going to say it out loud right now because I'm embarrassed by my PSN name. Please let me change my name, for the love of God.
Oh, God. Well, mine's still Scavenger18, so yeah. But no, I was going to say...
That's not as... I think mine's pretty awful, but...
This could be a discussion for another time, actually. I think that this console generation has been disappointing in the sense that there's not a lot of games, staple games that made these consoles. With PS4 anyway, a lot of the games that are here now on this console are from last generation.
You get to them, or you mean
exactly
of them?
Exactly. Halo was that was on Xbox. That was the game, and Xbox 360 obviously carried that over into the 360. But there was just, I feel like distinguished, definitive games.
Titles.
They just weren't. Yeah, they just weren't. I haven't seen them
new
really
IPs. You're saying.
Exactly.
I think Horizon is definitely a new IP that Sony would be happy.
Well, that's what they're
boast.
saying.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that too. Yeah,
I've been hearing
but that could be a discussion for another time.
Yeah,
I think
that's definitely a discussion we should get into next week or something.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been Two Jersey Kids, episode 25 and a half, I guess you could call it. Man, that was fun. Please, if you are a new listener and you enjoyed that, please hit the subscribe button. And if you're a continued listener, remember, we love you. Me, Adam, and Gary love you so much. But, Gary, you going to say something to the folks before we go? You have anything to say?
Well, I will say that, you're once again, you're talking about our download numbers before this episode started. Really loving it. We're loving all the downloads there. Really appreciate you guys listening.
Trying to hit 1,000 in February. We have less days, but we're going to do it.
I think we very well we'll get there. But, once again, we really appreciate people that, tweet at us, respond to our, amazing questions and our amazing posts. So thanks a lot. And I will see you guys on Friday for our news episode.
Okay, yes, before I go, I really thought this was kind of awesome when I saw it. I was on my normal, I wasn't on like the Two Jersey Kids Twitter, and I saw Allison Lodato post something, and then I saw our good friend, how do you say his name? Nikita Loganov responded to her tweet. So we got an intermingling of the Two Jersey Kids family. This is awesome. Yeah. Two worlds collide. I thought, honestly, I know it was probably just nothing. I just thought that was fucking awesome. I don't know. I just saw that. I was like, that's fucking sweet. I don't care. That made my day. I'm happy. I just, honestly, if we ever get large, quote unquote, large for me would just be, I would love to get 1,000 downloads an episode. That's my large. But I would love to cultivate a community where they feel, I don't know, they feel calm and cool talking and intermingling with each other and not being afraid and have people, on the internet shout at them. But there's obviously going to be people like that. But we do love everybody out there. We love all you guys listening to us and the way you interact with us. We'll be back on Friday to give you all the news that is coming out this week. Just from the bottom of our hearts, we love you all. So, Gary, say bye.
Peace out.
All right. Peace out, guys. Remember, follow us on Twitter at Two Jersey Kids. Have a good one. Bye.